Police believe this is Tom Phillips and one of his children in Piopio at around 2 in the morning earlier this month.
Where is Tom Phillips and his 3 kids? That is something authorities have been looking at for a couple of years now. He disappeared in New Zealand.
Tom Phillips and his 3 children had been missing since December of 2021.
He resurfaced, disappeared again.
There have been recent sightings, including in Te Awamutu and Hamilton, where Phillips was spotted at 2 Bunnings warehouses, allegedly driving a stolen Toyota Ute. This September, police charged him with a Te Kuiti bank robbery, alleging this was him leaving the scene. His disappearance is believed to be linked to a custody issue.
And that's end of story as far as we know right now. What happened to them?
Obviously, he disappeared with the kids, taking them with him, went off grid. He appears when people were worried that the kids were dead, that they were never going to be found again. He shows up, and then he goes off grid again. The worry is their well-being in the care of this man. But here's the thing, 99% of the kids that are abducted by their own parents, thankfully, are not physically harmed. They don't turn up dead.
But why are you saying abducted? How do you abduct a kid when you have custody?
If you're worried about losing that custody at some point or it being revisited.
Was he? Was he worried?
Everyone kept saying custody battle, but I kept seeing in articles that the reason that he had custody is because mom had some stuff going on. They never went into specifics. I don't know if she had a drug habit or if she just wasn't fit to raise the children.
My babies deserve better. I'm just a mother standing here in front of the world, begging you all to help me bring my babies home.
They said that she was battling her own demon. But I have to note that when they came back, the kids were happy, they were fed, they were well nourished, they went out camping. He is known to be a survivalist. He's known to have military training. This is a very remote area where you have to know these skills.
But he's depriving them of schooling, of socialization with other people, with medical care.
Regarding the kids appearing to look happy, I've known several women in abusive relationships, and a lot of times they appear happy as well. I've known people who have been in cults before. They also appear happy.
They're being manipulated,
exactly.
They're being brainwashed.
Or they become Patty Hearst.
If it's Stockholm Syndrome, it's entirely possible.
Right. There have been these theories that he may have done bad things to these kids, and they may not be alive. I don't think that's the case. Just the fact that he resurfaced once tells me that this was his thing. He wanted to go off the grid with his kids, but the kids are okay. If you take away the crimes, then he's made a decision to homeschool, to let the kids live in the wilderness, and the worst you could say is maybe you'd call it child endangerment or something, but it's not kidnapping, it's not abduction.
I think it's also a survival technique that he is just putting in place.
He's living in a state of paranoia, and he's not fit to care for children. In the beginning of the timeline, it seemed like this is an eccentric father, this is a doomsdayer plot, right? He's taken the kids, maybe it's not necessarily harmful. Where this all kind of goes awry is around August 2023. That's where we see him with armed robbery. That's where we see him in stolen cars. So clearly, something is building up in his mind that I don't know we can pinpoint a motive, because I think this is born out of mental illness. He is very clearly evading law enforcement. He is on the run, and these kids are just accomplices.
Okay, I have a theory. The kids disappeared in 2021. So they had just experienced a hideous year of COVID where they were cooped up inside. So you think of the mindset of a kid who's trapped, and all of a sudden they have this vast freedom with their dad, and you could see why they would be kind of on board for something like that.
He's allowed to raise them however he wants.
But if he robbed this bank, he's not being a good role model. He's not providing a good life for these children, period.
He's an unhinged and dangerous person. That's the clear thing here. If he's robbing banks, if he's stealing cars, it's unequivocal to talk about this other than saying he's a dangerous person who's caring for these kids.
But he's also making other intentional moves to stay off the grid. For example, he's paying cash in order to get goods, so that there is no record of what he buys and what he has.
This guy knows what he's doing, although I'm surprised they haven't found him yet, because I can almost guarantee you he's on his farm or very near his farm.
We're not even talking about the population of the town, how small of a place this is. I mean, these kids were not exposed to very much, even in their town life, before they went off the grid. So this is not a huge, drastic life change.
Yeah, 69 people in the town. It's sort of like being in the wilderness anyway.
Exactly. This lifestyle may not be all too different from what they have known their entire life.
But he crossed the line when he started committing felonies, and that's where the concern comes in.
What this is a ticking time bomb. There is going to be a moment where one of those kids is going to break away from this. There is going to be a breaking point where one of those kids is going to deviate from his care, from his dictatorship, and they are going to break out, and the whole thing goes belly up.